Well, according to the latest news, Harry is urged to stop using drugs. Okay, a drug charity apparently is urging Prince Harry to please stop using Class A drugs because they are certainly not good for his health. A drug charity has revealed in a whole new campaign that for the sake of his invisible children, Prince Harry should really stop using Class A drugs. On Thursday, Raquel Minchin, a senior anti-drug spokeswoman for U.S. drug charity Stop Now, revealed, "Please get help, not only for yourself, but for the sake of your children. We would like to direct Prince Harry to a drug rehabilitation unit so he can overcome his drug dependency." It is true that heavy drug use can cause all sorts of problems like schizophrenia and paranoia and even manic depression. Many people who take drugs are looking for the first high they experienced when they first took the drug. They're always chasing that high. But the drug is never going to feel the same as that first high ever again. And in many cases, the drug use just gets worse. And soon enough, it is completely out of control, leading to many problems. Prince Harry also acts like he's supposed to be some type of role model and celebrity, but his drug use misleads many young people out there who believe because he does it, oh, it must be cool to do drugs. Because of Harry's celebrity status in America, he is allowed to get away with a lot, pretty much everything in fact, and he even entered the US by omitting some important details about his drug abuse on the visa form. Harry has never taken accountability for any of his mistakes in his entire life, and he believes that he can just do whatever he wants without any repercussions whatsoever. So Harry is encouraged to at least try to tone down the heavy drug use in the future. Meanwhile, let's talk about the latest news. So, the Prince and Princess of Wales were surprise guests at the Jordanian royal wedding, and that's a probable sign that Charles has some important plans for the couple. I would like to imagine that the royal family submits its employees to performance reviews, including HRHs. Just picture it, once a year, inside of a Buckingham Palace office, a slightly nervous Catherine sits while King Charles, a peeling plastic clipboard in hand, goes through the work that she's done over the year. "Oh, your method of accepting bouquets has really improved, but still, you need to do a little more work on your ceremonial tree planting." But sadly, the reality is that figuring out whose performance is impressing the monarchical capo usually relies on a certain divination of the signs and smoke signals coming out of Buckingham Palace. But lucky for us, this week it has become clear that the king has finally tapped Catherine and Prince William to take on a more important role. It looks like the tiara diplomacy years are finally upon us. On Thursday, William and Catherine took the media and royal watchers by surprise by going to Jordan for the royal wedding of Al Hussein bin Abdullah, Crown Prince of Jordan, to his new wife, Princess Rajwa. At the ceremony, and then later on at the reception, Catherine and William joined the throng of other kings, queen, as well as crown princes and princesses from European, Asian, and Middle Eastern monarchies. So William and Catherine attend somebody else's wedding. Alright, it might not sound that exciting. Now, before you start to think maybe I've lost my marbles and this is not a very big deal, I want to point something out. This wedding marks the very first time that William and Catherine have been called upon to represent the sovereign at a major foreign royal event. Of course, William and Catherine have done lots of Union Jack waving around the world since 2011, but still, the late Queen never asked them to stand in for her at this kind of official regal gathering. Now, as far as more responsibilities go, being assigned the task of fronting up to a palatial wedding, making sure not to drink too much champagne, and probably trying to avoid that one princess who always smells like cigarettes, doesn't sound especially meaningful. But in the world of the royals, assuming this kind of responsibility means that they have taken a big step up in their royal careers. This kind of wedding duty in the past fell to Charles when he was the Prince of Wales. He would spend his mornings running the Prince's Trust, and then afternoons he would have to spend deadheading begonias. In the last few decades, he represented the late Queen at the nuptials of Crown Prince Haakon and Crown Princess Mette-Marit of Norway, King Willem Alexander and Queen Maxima of the Netherlands, also King Felipe and Queen Letizia of Spain, and also King Felipe and Queen Matilda of Belgium. What the appearance of William and Catherine in Jordan really signifies is the beginning of the next phase of their royal careers, a phase that's going to result in their passports accruing so many stamps. And so William Catherine and her trusty tiara of choice could be about to hit the road big time. Because over the last few years, they haven't actually done that many large-scale bells and whistles royal overseas tours. First of all, the pandemic kind of got in the way of a lot of those plans, and then also they had to mourn the loss of Prince Philip as well as Her late Majesty. But now the borders are open, the new king has been crowned, and Catherine has finally found her favorite earplugs and sleeping mask, so things could be about to change. It's tradition for working members of the royal family to go everywhere in the world, like a Palace Catherine wheel of big smiles and very neatly combed hair, so they do their part to support UK trade and diplomatic relations. Considering what's happened over the last few years, it would be pretty easy to forget that traditionally the royal family's job is not only to open new train lines and hospitals, but they also are expected to serve as unofficial trade and governmental ambassadors, deployed by Downing Street and Whitehall. So essentially, they're going to be sent off to wherever some overeducated Cambridge grad believes they should go, where the HRH is going to act like they really understand the tariffs and they're interested in the local animal feed industry. And this was all great when there were plenty of working members of the royal family, but now things have changed a lot since Catherine's first tour back in 2011. Because now there are 5 fewer senior members of the royal family to go on these overseas tours than of the 14 on the books back in 2018. Today, it's just the Waleses and the Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh. They're the only official representatives of the monarchy on this side of 70. And of the people remaining, all 7 are over the age of retirement. Now, the Edinburghs have been hard at work. Prince Edward this year already has traveled to Canada, the US, and Germany, and Sophie made an important trip to Iraq back in May. But this is not the kind of glamorous pomp and pageantry that really fuels the royal industrial complex. And that means that William and Catherine are it when it comes to dealing with the bulk of international royal tours at this point. The pressure on them and the expectation to fly the flag on behalf of the monarch around the world is only going to get more intense, like it or not. It doesn't take a genius to figure out, though, that their horizons are increasingly international. William's $95 million Earthshot Prize was held last year in the US, and it's going to be staged across an entire week in Singapore this coming November. William also recently undertook a surprise visit to Poland in a show of support for Ukraine. Meanwhile, last year, Catherine went to Denmark for a solo trip as part of her early years foundation work. But on the other hand, they are still a couple with some very young kids at home. They've got homework to do. They have to make sure the backpacks are packed and the sports kit is ready. Now, to be fair, William and Catherine probably have plenty of staff to help out with that kind of stuff. But still, they like to be with their children and they like to be at home. They like to do the normal parenting type work. Because at the end of the day, William and Catherine are devoted to being present for their children's daily lives in a way that no future king or queen ever has before. But still, that commitment to their little children is about to collide head-on with the fact that both Charles and the government are going to need them to go places with increasing frequency in the years to come. There are many international fences that need to be mended after that whole Brexit caper, for example. So it looks like they need to get out their carry-on and they need to get plenty of travel-sized toiletries because the Waleses have an entire world to impress, and of course, they want to be back in time for the Saturday game.